DEA and FBI task force, and they would come to us because they wanted information on Mr. Davis's fellow gang members who he hung around with. And basically they would tell us that he's trafficking narcotics across the United States all the way to the East Coast.
Now, I want to talk a little bit more about Mr. Davis. Would you see him sometimes in Compton?
Yes, many, many times I've seen Mr. Davis.
And can you, do you see him in the courtroom today?
Yes, I.
Can you please point him out and identify an article of clothing he's wearing?
Yeah, he's male black sitting at the end of the table wearing, it's either gray or black suit.
Your Honor, may the record reflect the identification of the defendant in this case?
It will.
All right, and how would Mr. Davis dress in normal, like, gangster attire, like you were talking about before, or would he dress differently?
No, in his later years after he became the leader, whenever I'd see him, he'd be nicely dressed. Have the brim hat on, and he wouldn't have anything gangster-like on. He was always well-dressed.
I'm going to ask you now about somebody by the name of Orlando Anderson. Were you familiar with Mr. Anderson?
Yes, I was very familiar with Mr. Anderson. I had many, many contacts with him.
Okay, and can you tell us how you first became aware of Mr. Anderson's involvement in gang activity, if such activity existed?
Yes, I guess you could say I was there for his initiation into the gang. My partner Tim Brennan and I, we were at a fast food restaurant getting something to eat, and we're in the drive-thru. And this particular restaurant was right adjacent to the Southside Crip territory. And there's an alley that runs just adjacent to it. So as we got our food, and we were driving out of the fast food restaurant, and all of a sudden we heard a barrage of shots. We can hear them hitting our car. I heard about 5 or 6 shots, right? So after the shots stopped, we looked at each other, jumped out of the car, made sure we were all right, and we ran to where the shots were coming from. And witnesses were pointing down the street, and I saw 3 male blacks running down towards a known gang hangout. So these guys ran in there. We called the troops. We subsequently arrested Orlando Anderson and 2 other people, and during their interviews they said that was part of their initiation. They didn't have to be jumped in if they tried to kill me and my partner. So they were automatically in the gang, and Orlando Anderson wasn't the shooter during this incident.
Was not.
Was not.
Yeah. Now, were you familiar? Well, did Orlando Anderson, to your knowledge, have any relation to Dwayne Davis?
Yes, we found out that it was Orlando Anderson was Keefe's nephew. I'm sorry.
That's fine. And Keefe is what Mr. Davis went by?
Yeah, Keefe D.
Yeah, Keefe D. Is that kind of how you're used to referring to Mr. Davis?
Yes, I kind of know by their nicknames, really.
Okay. And then, were you also familiar with somebody by the name of Terrence Bubble Up Brown?
Yes. Had many contacts with Mr. Brown. He was kind of an older gangster, call him a wobbler. I still considered him in the gangster phase, but he kind of was a little older, too.
And I guess, in the mid-'90s, what phase or what level would you say Orlando Anderson was?
Definitely gangster phase.
And then, did he go by any nicknames that you're aware of, Orlando Anderson?
Yes, Baby Lane.
And then, were you familiar with somebody by the name of DeAndre Smith?
Yes, DeAndre Smith, many contacts with him. Again, admitted to me, he's a Southside Crip member. His nickname was Big Dre.
Why was he called Big Dre?
Because he was a big man, and he was like 6'4", probably 300 pounds. He was a big guy.
Were you also familiar with a gang called Mob Piru?
Yes.
Can you tell us about Mob Piru?
Yes, they're a gang in the city of Compton, and they're located in the northeast portion of our city. Their gang used to be called the Looters Park Piru. That was their territory. In about 1975 or 76, a group of kids over there wanted to start their own gang and have their own territory, so they started at Mob Piru, which stands for Members of Bloods. Now their area is probably a quarter mile in each direction, and there's probably 45 to 50 active gang members in this gang also, and they identify themselves by wearing the color red. So, and just like the Crips wore anything blue, the Pirus or Bloods wear everything red.
Now, we're going to talk a little bit about the flare-up between Mob Piru and Southside Crips, but even before any of the music or any of the particular 1990s issues that we're here to discuss, would it be fair to say that Mob Piru and Southside Crips were natural rivals?
Yes, the Bloods and Crips never got along since they originated way back in the early 70s. They're kind of like just natural enemies because one wears red and one wears blue.
Were you familiar with whether or not Mob Piru associated with any particular record label in the mid-90s?
Yes, Death Row Records.
And do you know who ran Death Row Records at the time?
Yes, Suge Knight.
Now, were you familiar with Suge Knight prior to his ascension in Death Row Records?
Yeah, we had contact with him before, but not many, because he really wasn't a gang member. He didn't really hang out, but he grew up in that neighborhood.
I'm going to ask you about some of the people that you would associate with Mob Piru. Earlier, I think now it's last week, we met with somebody named James McDonald. Are you familiar with James McDonald?
Yes, very.
Do you recall what his nickname was?
Yes, Mob James.
Now, would you go to the McDonald house in Mob Piru territory?
Yes, Mob James's house was kind of like the main hangout for the Mob Piru, Looters Park Piru. He had two younger brothers, Buntry and Timmy Rue. So this was the main hangout for the Mob Pirus, and we would go there. If you wanted to find a Mob Piru, that's the first place you'd look. So we had many run-ins at this Mob James house.
And were you familiar with somebody by the name of Trayvon Lane?
Yes.
And States Exhibit 60? Do you recognize the person depicted in States Exhibit 60?
Yes, that's Trayvon Lane. His nickname's Trey, and he's a member of the Mob Piru.
Are you familiar with somebody by the name of Roger Williams?
Yes, I am. His nickname is Neckbone, and he's also a member of the Mob Piru.
No, actually, I think I skipped something with Trayvon Lane. You had talked about the 3 levels of being a gangster. What level would you say Trayvon Lane was in the mid-90s?
Gangster.
Okay, so like the middle, most violent level.
Yes.
And then with in the mid-90s, what level was Roger Williams?
Definitely gangster.
In the mid-90s, what level was Mob James McDonald?
I would consider him an OG.
And then in, you'd mentioned Buntry. Is that Alton McDonald?
Yes, it is.
And in the mid-90s, what level would you describe him?
Gangster.
And then are you, now in that neighborhood, same neighborhood, there was a person that lived there or grew up there named Reggie Wright Jr. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Were you familiar with Reggie Wright Jr.?
Very, yes.
And when you say very, how are you familiar with Reggie Wright Jr.?
Oh, he used to work at the Compton Police Department. He was a jailer, and then he went to be a full-time police officer, I think, in around 1988. He was only there for like 5 years because he got injured and had to retire.
Now, I'm going to ask you something, I guess, culturally about gang life. How important is one's reputation in the gang world?
Very. It's these guys live for respect. That's how they live their lives.
And then, if somebody felt as though they were disrespected, what would you expect them to do?
They have to retaliate. If a gang member is disrespected, they have to retaliate, or they're considered a punk out in the streets. And if you get considered a punk out in the streets, you kind of lose your respect and credibility.
And what's the consequence of losing your respect and credibility in the streets?
Well, I mean, no, you're going to be nothing in that game, really.
And then we talked about the hundreds of murders that you've investigated and the thousands of shootings you've investigated. Was retaliation, in your experience, ever a motive for those shootings or murders?
Yes. I've investigated like 1,000 crimes, and I would say 90% of them are because of disrespect. And so when you get disrespected as a gang member, you can expect some sort of retaliation.
Now, you had heard gathering intelligence about this Lakewood Mall incident. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
But you weren't there, were you?
No.
And just so we're all clear, Lakewood Mall, is that in Compton?
No, it's several miles out of Compton.
And so that wouldn't be something for you to investigate?
No.
But as a gang expert and a gang investigator, what to you is the significance of somebody trying to rip off a gang member's chain?
Well, it's definitely disrespect, especially the chain that they were trying to take at the Lakewood Mall. It was a highly prized medallion, and these guys wore it like a badge of honor. So them try to steal this chain and beat up this subject, it would be a major display of disrespect. So now this guy's got to go back to the Mob Piru and Death Row Records and tell them what happened. So the next time they see each other, it's going to be on site. As soon as they see each other, some confrontation is going to happen.
And you had said that we're talking about the chain. We're talking about that Death Row chain. Is that right?
Yes.
And you had mentioned that they were wearing it with great pride. By they, who are you talking about?
The entourage of Suge Knight. That's Trayvon Lane. Well, back in '95, Suge Knight gave these out as Christmas presents to his entourage, like just, Trayvon, Neckbone, Buntree. They gave one to Reggie Wright Jr. So not too many people had him at this time. So it was a prized possession to these guys.
Now, I'm going to take you forward to September 7th of 1996. You become aware of a shooting that occurs out here in Las Vegas, September 7th, 1996. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
How do you become aware of the shooting that occurred here on September 7th, 1996?
Well, I was at home, and I get a call from my boss, who's Reggie Wright Sr., and he tells me that, hey, Suge Knight and Tupac were just shot. Tupac's in critical condition, and get ready because it's coming back to Compton. He told me that they thought the Southside Crips were responsible for the shooting.
And so when he's telling you this, do you now have to have a response to this, or why is he telling you specifically to get ready?
Because when you disrespect and shoot the biggest rap mogul on the planet and the biggest rap star on the planet, and he surrounds himself with the Mob Piru, then there's going to be some sort of retaliation. And all these guys were from Compton. So when they got back to Compton, we expected a war.
And was there a war?
There definitely was a war.
Can you tell us about that? So in the immediate aftermath of the Tupac Shakur shooting, did you notice an uptick in violence in Compton?
Yes, 2 days after Tupac was shot was our first shooting. One of the OGs was at a store on Alondra Boulevard in Compton, and he was shot in the back several times, and a 10-year-old little girl got caught in the crossfire, and she was hit, and she was in critical condition. And the guy that was shot was a Southside Crip member, and again, he was a shot caller for the Southside Crips. His name was Darnell Brim.
Okay, and we've heard Darnell Brim's name before here, but was Darnell Brim part of the same subgroup of the Southside Crips as Dwayne Davis?
No, he was a Southside Crip gang member like they all were, but there was two factions of it. There was a group called the Burrs Crew, which Mr. Davis ran, and then there was a Glencoe crew that Darnell Brim ran.
And is it fair to say that at some point there was a conflict between the two groups that caused the factionalization?
Yes, they used to be one big happy family, but there was a disagreement over drugs, or some drugs were stolen from one of the Burrs Crew members, and that's when they split apart. They start fighting with each other, and they split apart into two different factions.
Now, in your understanding of gang culture, would Mob Piru, if they're seeking retaliation, would they be discerning about which crew or which part of the Southside Compton Crips they were shooting at, or would it just be you find a Southside Crip and then you start shooting?
Yeah, they don't care. When they go hunting for somebody, they don't care which faction he's from. If he's a Southside Crip member, or they're going to go after him.
Now, certainly that wasn't the only shooting that occurred in the immediate aftermath of the Tupac Shakur shooting. Is that correct?
That's correct. We had 3 murders and 10 attempted murder drive-by shootings that happened within a 10-day period in Compton.
And is that when, and were those shootings going back and forth related to Mob Piru and Southside Crips?
Yes.
So, I mean, you had mentioned earlier, there's 53 or 50 plus gangs in this 10 square mile radius, but during this particular heightened sense of violence, what was happening was the shooting back and forth between Mob Piru and Southside Crips.
Yes, but basically what it told me as a gang investigator right after the first shooting of Darnell Brim, to me there was no doubt in my mind that the Southside Crips were responsible, because the Mob Piru had to retaliate, and they had 54 other gangs to choose from, but they went right after the Southside Crips. So there's no doubt in my mind he was responsible for shooting Tupac and Suge Knight.
Now, as a result of this, in October, you and your partner Tim Brennan put together a multi-house search warrant.
That is correct.
And what was the purpose of this search warrant?
Well, we had two purposes, really. One, there was a war in the city of Compton, and innocent people were getting shot as well as gang members, and so we wanted to put a stop to that. So by hitting houses on both sides, both the Pirus and the Crips, and we wanted to quell the violence and try to stop it. The other reason was we wanted to try to help Las Vegas PD with their investigation of the shooting of Tupac and Suge.
And when you said you wanted to help the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department in their investigation of who shot Tupac and Suge, can you elaborate more on how you believed this search warrant might help Metro in this investigation?
Yes, the way we handle gang-related homicides is when we did the search warrant, we'd find a reason, hopefully, to arrest them. We'd find guns or narcotics in their house, and then we'd bring them down to the station. So you would have all the players that were involved, like that we heard about that was involved in the shooting of Tupac Shakur. So we rounded them all up, and hopefully Las Vegas PD would come down and try to interview them, try to get one of them to cop out, or to try to put them in Las Vegas, whatever they want to do on their investigation of the murder. We rounded up all the people for them, so that's how we helped them.
So the search warrant served two purposes. You have an active war going on, and you're trying to slow the violence in Compton, but you're also thinking, well, maybe we can get some of the folks who we think might be involved in the Tupac shooting to start talking as well.
Correct.
Did Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department send detectives out here for that purpose, or out there for that purpose?
Yes, they sent 2 detectives.
Now, with regards to the search warrant itself, were a number of firearms recovered as well?
Yes.
And was part of the goal that maybe not only just take the guns off the street for the Compton war, but was there a hope that maybe the firearm for the Tupac Shakur murder might be recovered as well?
That's correct also.
It's fair to say that that did not happen.
That's correct.
You know, I'm actually going to approach with State's proposed exhibit number 161.
You may.
I'm showing you what's proposed State's exhibit number 161.
I gotta get my glasses on.
No problem.
Okay.
Do you recognize what's in what State's proposed exhibit 161 is?
Yes, it's a search warrant.
And can you open it up and look through it? Do you recognize the search warrant?
Yes, I do. It was a search warrant that we prepared, well, Tim wrote after the Tupac shooting.
And was it? Did you assist him in the investigation that led up to the search warrant?
Yes,
And did you assist him in giving him the information in order to get the probable cause?
definitely, yes.
And then did you also assist in executing that search warrant?
Yes.
Now, State's going to move State's proposed exhibit 161 as evidence.
Any objection, Mr. Smith?
No objection.
So admitted.
Now, there's been some allegation that the Compton Police Department was only focused on the Southside Crips when it came to trying to stop this war and stop this violence. Is it fair to say that among the houses that were searched included a large number of Mob Piru houses along with Southside Crips houses?
Yes, definitely. We hit many houses on both sides.
And is it fair to say that is a total of 38 residences that were looked into?
Yes.
And to include members of Mob Piru and Southside Compton Crips?
Yes.
Now, permission to approach, Your Honor?
You may.
I'm going to show you what's been previously marked as State's Exhibits 162 and 163. Do you recognize what these are?
Yes.
What are they?
These are evidence that we collected at the scene.
Okay. And without going into the addresses, is it fair to say that these were evidence that were collected from Dwayne Davis's house and Dwayne Davis's family's house?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to move State's Exhibits 162 and 163 to evidence.
Any objection?
No objection.
So admitted.
Okay, I'm going to first turn your attention to State's Exhibit 162. Can you finish that?
Yeah, you just want me to avoid the address, though, right? We have to avoid the address. Maybe take it off. Jessica, maybe take it off me while it comes up, so we can avoid the address itself. What page do you want?
The fourth page, please. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Can you do the second page first?
Okay.
Yes. Okay, so this is the first address we're going to talk about here. And again, we're not going to go into what the actual address is, but do you recognize the people that are listed that were located at the address?
Yes.
And fair to say they were members of Mr. Davis's family?
Yes.
Now I'm going to turn your attention to the next page. And under on line number 5, do you see what's listed there as the receipt?
Yes.
And line number 5 is one hotel's receipt. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then line number 6 is one Compton Municipal Court subpoena. Is that correct?
Yes.
Then I'm going to show you State's Exhibits 163, if we can take it off us for a second.
Okay, give me half a second here. Sorry, can we approach? I think you just have to show it to him, Mr. Blah. I don't think we can put it up.
Okay.
This is what it says.
So I'm showing you page 3 of State's Exhibit 163. Can you tell us what this document actually is?
Yeah, it's a receipt for property taken.
And then it actually mentions who is taking some of the property here, doesn't it?
Yes,
And who's that?
myself.
Okay. And then one is a letter from the Excalibur Casino, is that correct?
Yes,
And then the other is an envelope addressed to Orlando Anderson, is that correct?
yes,
And then the third is miscellaneous bills addressed to Orlando Anderson as well, is that correct?
yes.
And all of these 3 items were collected by you, is that fair to say?
Yes.
So from Mr. Davis's home, and well, we'll start with 163. We have from Mr. Anderson's home, we have a receipt from the Excalibur. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then is part of the reason why you're collecting that receipt is because it's relevant to the investigation as to who shot Mr. Shakur.
Yes, we thought it might be significant that it showed that Mr. Davis was in Las Vegas at the time of the shooting.
I guess this one's Mr. Anderson, correct?
Yeah.
And then from Mr. Davis's house, there's also a receipt, a hotel receipt that was collected. Is that fair?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to approach. I'm going to show you States 160. And we're not going to talk about the addresses specifically, but the 2 addresses attributed to Mr. Anderson and Mr. Davis. One is at the top, and then one is at the bottom with a red dot. Is that correct?
Yes.
It's fair to say that they are very close to each other.
Yes.
I'm going to move 160 to evidence.
Any objection?
No objection.
So admitted.
So Mr. Anderson, was he one of the people that was caught up during the search warrants, this 38 house search warrant?
Yes.
And was Mr. Davis around during the 38 house search warrant?
No, we couldn't locate him.
So you were able to locate Mr. Anderson, but Mr. Davis was just not around.
Correct.
And you don't know why or how that is.
That's correct.
But with regards to Mr. Anderson, it's fair to say Mr. Anderson at that point is a person of interest, at least, in the shooting of Mr. Shakur.
Definitely, yes.
And then at that point, do you make him available for questioning with Detective Becker from LVMPD?
Yeah.
And does Mr. Becker make an attempt to question Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
And did any useful or relevant information come out during the course of that questioning?
Not that I was aware of.
Now, let's fast forward a little bit. You were aware that 6 months later, Christopher Wallace, also known as the Notorious B.I.G., also known as Biggie Smalls, he was killed in Los Angeles. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, was that in the Compton area?
No.
And so, were you responsible for the investigation into Christopher Wallace?
No.
But did you end up assisting the LAPD in trying to execute search warrants in an attempt to gather information on the murder of Christopher Wallace?
Yes.
And why were you the person, or you and Mr. Brennan the person that LAPD would ask for assistance?
Because we knew who all the players were, and we told them at the time that they had a little internal feud going with each other, and we were getting ready to do search warrants on them.
So you were getting ready to, they were having an internal feud. Is it fair to say that the 1997 search warrant served a dual purpose in a similar way that the 1996 search warrant served?
Yes.
So like in 1996, you have a war between Mob Piru and Southside Crips, and you're also trying to see if you can get any information related to the Tupac Shakur murder. Is that fair?
Correct. Yes.
And then in 1997, you had mentioned that there was an internal feud that had gotten violent. Is it fair to say that the Burris Street crew and the Glencoe Street crew on the Southside Compton Crips, that they had started engaged in their own violent feud?
Yes, definitely.
And as a result, and at that same time, there was some question as to whether or not members of the Southside Crips may be involved in the murder of Christopher Wallace.
Correct.
And so, were those two goals, or those two functions, part of the reason or the basis for executing the search warrants?
Yes.
Now, I'm going to show you what's been previously admitted as State's Exhibit 136. Do you recognize State's Exhibit 136?
Yes. This is a search warrant we did on.
And we're not going to talk about addresses by agreement, but it's a search you did on a different house from the houses that you did in 1996. Is that correct?
Yes.
And this is a different residence that was associated with Mr. Davis. Is that fair?
Yes.
Page 4 of 136.
It's not actually 136, but it is. Just give me a second.
Of course, indulgence, Your Honor. We're just pulling that up.
Sure.
Jessica, you can put it on me.
And Mr. DiGiacomo, do you mind zooming in a little bit?
Yeah, if I can figure out how to make the Zoom work on this. That didn't work. Let's see if the Zoom tool's not working.
Well, Mr. Ladd, we're going to do this the old-fashioned way. It's going to be up there, but I want to show you page 4 of 136. It's still up there on the screen as well. On page 4, we have another receipt of property taken. Is that right?
Yes.
And on line 4, what do we have?
A money due bill for the Monte Carlo Casino.
Now, in relation to this search warrant as well as the other search warrant, really you can only take property that would be related to the investigation, correct?
Correct.
So, like, if I couldn't take just any random property just because I have a search warrant, can I?
No.
You have to take things that are related to the actual search warrant.
Correct.
Now, I am going to ask you, did you spend, you said you had worked at Compton till about, how long, actually, let me rephrase. How long did you work at the city of Compton for?
From 1983 to 2001. I'm sorry, 2000.
Okay. Is it fair to say that at some point the Compton Police Department got swallowed up by the LA Sheriff's Office?
Yes.
And did you stay with, did you sign on to the LA Sheriff's Office after that?
Yes.
Do you recall approximately how many of the Compton police officers stayed with the LA Sheriff's Office? Okay.
Go ahead if you want.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I don't want it to be like yesterday where we keep on interrupting each other. Do you recall how many of the Compton police officers were hired on by the LA Sheriff's Office when LA Sheriff's Office took over Compton Police Department?
Yeah, I'm not sure the exact number. I think there was like 103 of us, and I think all but 2 were hired by the Sheriff's Department.
Now, you ultimately left the LA Sheriff's Office, is that correct?
Yes.
And then where did you go to work after that?
I lateraled over to an agency, Garden Grove PD in Orange County.
Probably a little bit safer than the Compton Police Department.
You could say that, yes. It was still a busy city, but it wasn't nothing like Compton.
And then during that time period is when you started giving talks with Detective Brennan regarding your experience working blood and Crip gangs in Compton.
Yeah.
Is it fair to say that Detective Brennan is no longer with us?
Yes, he passed away of cancer several years ago.
Oh, yeah. You know, I'd forgotten about one of the murders I wanted to talk, or one of the shootings I wanted to talk to you about during the war that escalated immediately after the shooting of Tupac Shakur. So I'm going back a little bit, and I apologize for that.
Okay.
One of the people that was shot was a man by the name of Bobby Finch. Is that correct?
Yes.
And Bobby Finch was actually killed on September 11th. Was Bobby Finch a gang member?
No.
Was Corey Edwards a gang member?
Yes.
And what gang did he belong to?
Southside Crips.
And do Bobby Finch and Corey Edwards look alike?
Yes, they do.
Seal pass the witness.
Does anyone need to use the restroom before we get into cross? Seeing no hands, Mr. Sampson. Oh. You good? You're good? Restroom. Okay, perfect. All right. During this recess, you're admonished not to talk or converse amongst yourselves or with anyone else on any subject connected to the trial, or read, watch, or listen to any report or commentary on the trial of any person connected with this case by any medium of information, including without limitation, newspaper, television, the internet, and radio, or form or express any opinion on any subject connected with the trial until the case is submitted to you. I'll have you guys back here at, let's say, 2:15. Please rise for the jury.